What if something really simple,
Yep.
an everyday item, something you might just pop in your mouth after lunch? What if that could actually be a silent guardian, a way to fight back against, well, all those invisible threats out there?
It sounds a bit like science fiction, doesn't it?
It really does. Imagine it, just regular chewing gum, something we all know, but suddenly it has this incredible power to stop viruses
Oh,
right where they start.
exactly.
So today, that's what we're diving into, this really fascinating idea,
Mm-hmm.
antiviral chewing gum.
Mm-hmm.
Our mission really is to unpack it all. We want to get into the science behind it, how it actually works on a tiny molecular level.
Right.
And then, maybe even more importantly, explore what this could mean, like the bigger picture for stopping viruses from spreading.
Hmm.
How could something so simple potentially, well, change how we think about public health?
And it's not just speculation. This deep dive is really built on some solid recent research.
Okay.
We're talking peer-reviewed studies, particularly one published just this year, March 2024, in a top journal called Molecular Therapy.
Right, molecular therapy, I know that one.
Yeah, really reputable. It came from a collaboration between the University of Pennsylvania, their dental school, actually, and researchers in Finland.
Yeah.
So a strong scientific base.
Okay, good.
And we're also pulling in insights from places like Masante and rvh-synergy.org, which help put it all in context, for public health.
Perfect. So whether you're listening as, say, a nurse, someone on the front lines dealing with infectious diseases every day, looking for what's new, what could help protect you and your patients.
Yeah, absolutely critical for them.
Or maybe you're just, curious, someone interested in wellness, how we prevent disease, maybe not a specialist, but definitely motivated to learn. This is for you.
We want to make it understandable, but not dumb it down.
Exactly. The goal is to give you those real insights, those aha moments, get the knowledge quickly, but thoroughly without feeling like you're drowning in jargon.
Let's get into it. So, to really appreciate why this gum idea is potentially so big, we first need to kind of set the stage. We have to talk about the massive challenge of infectious diseases globally.
It feels like it's always something, doesn't it?
It really does. For decades, certainly picking up steam before 2015 and definitely since, viruses have been this constant, sometimes underestimated threat. They just keep evolving, popping up.
Like H1N1 back in '09.
Exactly. H1N1, SARS before that. Remember how scary that was?
Oh, yeah.
Then Ebola outbreaks, Zika spreading rapidly, and bird flu like H5N1, which is still a major concern. Each one of these caused huge health crises, massive economic disruption.
Strained hospitals to the breaking point.
Absolutely. And the cost is just staggering worldwide. It really shows our vulnerabilities.
And that's just the big epidemics, right? What about the everyday stuff?
That's the other part of the picture. Beyond those big headline events, we have these constant background viral burdens that add up. Think about seasonal flu.
Flu season.
Right. It's not just a week of feeling miserable. It's a huge global health issue every single year. Millions, hundreds of millions get sick, tons of doctor visits, hospitalizations, deaths.
And the economic hit?
Massive. Just in the U.S., we're talking over $11 billion annually.
11 billion. Just from the flu.
Yeah. Lost work, medical costs, everything. It's a huge drain.
Wow.
And then there's something like herpes simplex, virus-1, HSV-1.
Cold sores, primarily.
Mostly, yeah, but it's incredibly common. Over 2/3 of everyone globally has it. Billions of people.
2/3. That's amazing.
It is. Spread easily through oral contact. And it's not always trivial. It's actually a leading cause of infectious blindness in Western countries.
Blindness from HSV-1.
Yes, through recurring eye infections. Causes a real long-term problems for many people. So it really begs the question, right? With things like flu and herpes being so widespread, so costly, why are they still such persistent problems?
That's exactly what I was thinking. You've laid out this really stark picture, these constant, expensive viral threats. So, given all the money and effort we put into medicine and public health, what's the missing piece? Where's the gap in our defenses that lets these things keep hitting us so hard?
That is the core question. And while we have amazing tools, vaccines, treatments, there are definite, gaps. Urgent gaps that this gum idea tries to fill.
Like what specifically?
Well, take the flu vaccine. It's recommended every year, but vaccination rates, often not great. They're suboptimal across lots of groups.
Right, vaccine hesitancy or access issues?
Exactly. So the virus keeps circulating, changing, finding ways around the immunity we do have. And then for something like herpes simplex, HSV-1 and 2, despite decades of work, billions spent, there's still no effective vaccine.
Still no vaccine for herpes. That's surprising given how common it is.
It's a very tricky virus to target. So these gaps, low vaccine uptake for flu, no vaccine at all for herpes, they really highlight why we need new approaches. Complementary strategies that can work alongside vaccines, or even when vaccines aren't available or fully effective.
Okay, so that brings us to the gum. How is it fundamentally different?
This is where it gets really interesting. It's a totally different angle. Most treatments tackle symptoms after you're sick, right? Or vaccines build up your body's overall immunity.
Mm-hmm.
This gum goes straight for the source, the viral load in your saliva. The idea is to drastically cut down the amount of virus right there in your mouth.
Why saliva?
Because saliva is a major highway for viruses. It's where they multiply, and crucially, it's how they spread to others through droplets when we talk, cough, sneeze, or even share things.
Okay.
So what's really revolutionary here, the paradigm shift, is that this is a totally new approach in viral prevention. It's not just tweaking existing methods. It's hitting the virus locally, right in the mouth, trying to stop it before it even gets out.
So the big question then for everyone listening, for nurses, for just regular people, what does this actually mean for protection? Is it supposed to replace my flu shot or wearing a mask? Or could it make people complacent?
That's such an important point, and we have to be crystal clear. This gum is absolutely designed to complement existing measures, not replace them.
Okay, complementary. That's key.
Absolutely key. It's not instead of vaccination. It's not instead of masks when needed. It's not instead of washing your hands. Think of it like adding another tool to the toolkit.
An extra layer of defense.
Exactly. It works with those other strategies. It adds another layer, and it's particularly useful in situations where maybe other things aren't practical, like you can't wear a mask while you're eating, right?
Right. Or in really crowded places.
Precisely. Crowded, maybe poorly ventilated areas where viruses can hang in the air.
Okay.
It gives you an extra bit of protection in those moments. It's additive.
Okay.
And the real aha moment here, the genius of it, is focusing specifically on the mouth and nose.
The entry and exit points.
You got it. Think of them as the main gateways for so many respiratory and oral viruses. Flu, herpes, COVID. They primarily use the mouth and nose to get in and to get out, to spread.
The freeway for viruses, as you put it.
Exactly. So by hitting the virus right there, locally, in the mouth where it's shedding, the gum aims to shut down or slow down that transmission right at the source.
Before it even really starts spreading.
That's the goal. It's this immediate, localized action. And it makes you wonder, why haven't we focused more on this direct local approach before? It feels quite intuitive once you think about it.
It does. Okay, so to quickly recap this first part, we've talked about the huge global challenge of viruses, the big epidemics, but also the constant burden of things like flu and herpes, both health-wise and economically.
Right. The scale is enormous.
And then we introduced this really novel idea,
Yeah.
the antiviral gum. Its core strategy is hitting the viral load directly in the saliva, not as a replacement, but as a complementary tool to fill some important gaps in how we currently prevent disease spread.
Perfectly summarized, it's about adding a new localized weapon to our arsenal. Okay, so let's dive into the really cool science now. What's in this gum that makes it work?
Yeah, what's the secret ingredient?
The key player is a protein called FRIL. Now, the acronym itself isn't the main thing. What matters is what it does. It's a type of protein called a lectin.
A lectin, okay.
Right.
And where does it come from?
It's actually found naturally in lablab purpureus,
Which is?
much more commonly known as lablab beans. They're grown widely across Asia and Africa, so the source is natural, readily available, which is a big plus for potentially making a lot of this.
Lablab beans, okay. So you called FRIL a molecular glue earlier.
Yeah.
That sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
How exactly does this protein stop viruses? What's the molecular magic happening when you chew?
It's actually quite elegant, quite direct. Picture viruses floating around in your saliva. Maybe you just breathed some in or they're multiplying there. These viruses, flu, herpes, COVID, they have specific sugar structures, carbohydrates on their surfaces. Think of them like little docking sites or antennae they use to attach to our cells.
Right, to infect us.
Exactly. Now, FRIL, being a lectin, has this special ability. It binds really strongly and specifically to those exact sugar structures on the virus surface.
So it grabs onto the virus.
It does more than that. Because of its structure, one FRIL molecule can grab onto multiple virus particles at the same time. It essentially ties them together.
So that's the glue part?
Precisely. This causes the viruses to clump up or agglutinate. They form these bigger clumps.
And why is clumping them up so important?
Because once they're clumped together like that, they physically can't attach to our cell receptors effectively. They can't get inside our cells to start an infection. They're neutralized right there in the saliva.
Wow. So it stops them before they can even dock.
That's the mechanism. And the gum is designed so that as you chew, it releases this FRIL protein steadily and efficiently right there in your mouth where the viruses are circulating, maximum impact at the point of contact.
Okay, that's clever. But how do we know it actually works? What's the proof?
Great question. This isn't just theory. The evidence comes from really rigorous testing, published, as I mentioned, in Molecular Therapy back in March 2024.
A high-impact journal, you said.
Very high impact. Getting published there means the work, done by UPenn and their Finnish partners, went through intense scientific review. It adds a lot of credibility.
Okay, so what did the tests actually show? Give us the numbers.
The numbers are pretty impressive. For common flu strains H1N1, the pandemic one, and H3N2, a regular seasonal one, the gum reduced the amount of active virus in saliva samples by over 95%.
95% reduction for flu. That's huge.
It really is. Almost complete neutralization in the saliva. And for herpes simplex viruses, it was also very strong. For HSV2, the one mostly linked to genital herpes, the reduction was 94%. And even for HSV1, the cold sore virus, which can be tougher, it achieved a 75% reduction.
75% is still really significant, right?
Oh, absolutely. Researchers consider that a very meaningful result, especially since we lack good preventative options for HSV1.
And you mentioned this built on earlier work.
Yes, and this is important. The same team had previously developed a similar gum targeting SARS-CoV-2, the COVID virus.
Okay.
That gum also showed over 95% viral load reduction in patient samples. But here's the key part. That COVID gum had already moved into clinical trials.
So it's not just lab tests. They're already testing it in people.
Exactly. It shows this technology isn't just stuck in the lab. It has a track record of moving forward pretty quickly towards real-world use. It gives us confidence in the platform itself.
That's really encouraging. And how much of this FRIL protein does it take? Is it a lot per piece of gum?
Surprisingly little, actually. The research showed that just 40 milligrams of FRAL, a tiny amount in a standard 2-gram piece of gum, was enough to get those 95% plus reductions.
40 milligrams in a whole piece of gum. That sounds really potent.
It speaks to how efficient this protein is, which also suggests it could be quite cost-effective to produce potentially.
What really stands out to me is how well it worked across different types of viruses, flu, herpes, COVID. There are quite different families, aren't they?
They are.
So what does that consistency tell us, especially thinking about, the next pandemic or even just next year's flu season? How quickly could this be adapted?
That consistency is probably one of the most exciting aspects. It strongly suggests FRAL has broad-spectrum activity. Its mechanism grabbing onto those common sugar structures seems to work against a range of what we call enveloped viruses, which includes many major human pathogens.
Well, it's not just a one-trick pony.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And that broad activity means the potential for rapid adaptation is huge. Imagine a new flu strain pops up, or even a totally new virus emerges. We wouldn't necessarily have to start from scratch. The basic FRIL tech is there. We might be able to tweak it and deploy a new version much, much faster than developing a whole new vaccine or drug, which takes years, sometimes decades.
So it could buy us crucial time in an outbreak.
Precisely. It could be a vital early tool while more specific things are developed. A real boost for pandemic preparedness.
Okay, let's recap this science part. The key is the FRIL protein from lablab beans. It acts like a molecular glue.
Right, using agglutination.
To clump up viruses and neutralize them right in the mouth. And the lab results are striking over 95% efficacy for flu, HSV2, COVID, and a strong 75% for HSV1. Really powerful stuff.
It truly is a fascinating mechanism with impressive results. Now, building on that science, it's so important we circle back and stress this point again. This gum is designed as a complementary tool.
Not a replacement. We really need to hammer that home.
Absolutely. It cannot be overstated. For everyone listening, healthcare workers, general public, please understand. This doesn't replace your flu shot. It doesn't replace wearing a mask when it's appropriate. It doesn't replace washing your hands.
It's an add-on.
It's an add-on. Its job is distinct. It targets that specific moment of transmission potential in the saliva.
Okay, so its real value is as that additional layer of protection.
Exactly. Think about nurses, doctors, everyone working in hospitals or clinics. They're constantly exposed.
Day in, day out.
This gives them an extra, really easy-to-use shield, especially during close patient interactions where maybe a mask slips or isn't practical for a moment.
And for the rest of us?
For the general public, it's just a practical, accessible tool. Think about times when other measures are hard eating out, talking closely with someone, maybe on public transport.
Yeah, situations where you feel a bit more exposed.
Right, it just adds that extra buffer. It's a practical boost to both personal and community level health strategies.
And you mentioned earlier, it could be particularly valuable where we lack other options,
Yes, and this is where its potential impact really shines. Consider viruses where we just don't have effective vaccines.
like herpes, HSV1 and 2.
Exactly. Decades of research, huge investment, and still no vaccine. It's been a massive challenge. This gum offers something genuinely new for prevention.
A way for people prone to outbreaks to manage it better.
Potentially, yes. A discrete, patient-controlled way to reduce their own viral shedding and maybe prevent transmission. It could significantly improve quality of life for millions.
That's a huge unmet need. What about people who don't even know they're sick?
Asymptomatic transmission. That's another critical area where this gum could make a big difference.
People spreading viruses without any symptoms.
Precisely. No cough, no fever, no visible cold sore, but they're actively shedding virus particles in their saliva. This happens with flu, with herpes, certainly with COVID.
With silent spreaders.
They contribute hugely to how outbreaks take off. Because the gum reduces viral load regardless of symptoms, it could help break those silent chains of transmission. Slow things down before we even realize there's a problem. That's a major public health win.
Can you paint a picture? Like, where would you see this being used most effectively?
Oh, definitely in crowded places. Think rush hour on the subway or bus, school lunchrooms, hospital waiting areas.
Identity environment.
Exactly. Places where close contact is hard to avoid and air circulation might not be great. For healthcare workers, it's easy protection during a long shift. And think about vulnerable groups.
The elderly. Immunocompromised people.
Yes, or people in crowded housing. For them, this could be a simple, effective, easily distributed form of protection, especially if accessing other healthcare is difficult. It doesn't need fancy infrastructure.
That accessibility seems key. Which brings up the practical side again.
Yeah.
Okay, the science looks good, the potential uses are clear.
Yeah.
But how realistic is this for widespread use? Are there worries about, say, how long it lasts on the shelf? Or crucially, is it safe?
Absolutely vital questions for any product aiming for mass adoption, and the researchers were very focused on this. They developed the gum not just as a lab curiosity, but as a clinical-grade drug product. Meaning it was made following the strict rules and specifications the FDA sets for medications, really high standards. And after all the testing, the conclusion was clear. They found that the gum was safe.
Okay, thorough safety checks, that's reassuring.
Yeah.
What about stability? Does it need to be kept in the fridge?
That's another remarkable part. No refrigeration needed. The gum retains its effectiveness for at least 2 years at ambient temperature.
2 years. At room temperature.
Yes. Think about what that means logistically. No need for expensive cold chains to ship and store it.
That's huge for getting it to developing countries or remote areas.
Absolutely massive. It dramatically simplifies distribution and storage, making it potentially viable almost anywhere in the world, regardless of climate or infrastructure. That's a game changer for accessibility.
And purity. You don't want contaminants.
Of course not. They did rigorous lab tests, confirming it's free from bacteria, molds, toxins, meeting all the quality standards for something people will put in their mouths.
Okay.
So this focus on safety, purity, and that incredible 2-year room temperature stability really builds confidence and makes it a reliable, trustworthy option for potential widespread use.
Right. Let's quickly sum up this chapter. Big takeaway. It's complementary, not a substitute for vaccines or masks.
Crucial point.
Its real strengths are filling gaps, like for viruses without vaccines, herpes, tackling silent asymptomatic spread, and being practical in high-risk places or for vulnerable people.
Spot on.
And critically, it's been shown to be safe in initial tests and boasts that impressive 2-year shelf life at room temp, making global rollout actually feasible.
You've got it. It addresses both the scientific and the practical hurdles. So we've covered the science, the potential uses, the safety. What's next? Where does this go from here?
Yeah, the big question.
Well, the absolute essential next step is large-scale human clinical trials.
Moving beyond the lab and initial safety checks.
Exactly. We need those big studies with lots of diverse people to really confirm how well it works in the real world, its efficacy, and to keep monitoring safety across different populations and situations.
That's the standard path for any new medical product, right?
It is. It's the crucial bridge from promising research to something you can actually get over the counter or from your doctor. It's where the theory proves itself in practice.
Makes sense. That's where the rubber meets the road, you could say,
Yeah.
for getting it to us. But are they thinking beyond just human gum? You mentioned its broad action. Does that open other doors?
Excellent question. And yes, absolutely. This is where the vision gets even broader and connects to a really important global health idea. Researchers are actively looking at veterinary applications,
Or veterinary? Like for pets? Or
more like for livestock, and
Yeah.
preventing diseases that jump from animals to humans. Specifically, they're exploring using the lablab bean powder itself, the source of FRIL, to fight avian influenza. Bird flu.
bird flu? Wow.
Yeah.
Like H5N1.
Exactly. Strains like H5N1 and H7N9. This is incredibly relevant right now, especially with the huge H5N1 outbreaks we've seen in North America recently. We're talking over 54 million birds affected.
54 million. That's devastating.
Huge agricultural impact. But critically, it's not just an animal issue. There have been several human infections reported in the U.S. and Canada.
Right, the zoonotic risk. Animal to human spread.
Precisely. So the idea here is maybe they could add this lablab powder directly into bird feed
Into the feed. To do what?
to try and control the virus inside the birds, reduce the amount of virus they carry and shed, similar to how the gum works in human saliva,
So stop the spread within flocks.
and, crucially, reduce the risk of it spilling over and infecting humans.
Mm.
It's a really proactive, preventative approach, right at that animal-human interface.
That's fascinating. It really highlights how connected animal health and human health are.
It perfectly illustrates the One Health concept.
One Health. Tell us more about that.
It's this global approach, gaining a lot of traction, that recognizes human health, animal health, and the health of our shared environment are all deeply interconnected. You can't really separate them.
So tackling bird flu in chickens helps protect people.
Exactly. This initiative is a prime example of One Health in action. It shows how interventions in the animal domain can directly safeguard human populations. It's a holistic way of thinking about health challenges.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Are there other, maybe more immediate applications being considered?
Yes, there's another very specific practical one that relates directly to healthcare settings. Preventing infections after dental procedures.
In dentistry, how would that work?
Think about it. During drilling, scaling, extractions, the mouth becomes a real hotspot for potentially spreading viruses.
Aerosols and splashes, right?
Exactly. And the patient obviously can't wear a mask during most procedures, so the mouth is this high-risk environment. The idea is that having the patient chew this gum before, or maybe even during certain points of the procedure, could reduce the viral load in their saliva significantly.
Protecting the dentist and the staff.
Precisely. Protecting the dental team from exposure to patient viruses. And potentially protecting the patient, too, from anything introduced during the procedure. It's a really concrete, targeted application to improve safety in a common healthcare setting.
That's a very tangible benefit.
Yeah.
Okay, wrapping up this chapter. The crucial next step is those large-scale human clinical trials.
Indispensable.
But the vision is bigger. We're looking at veterinary uses like fighting bird flu, which perfectly ties into that vital One Health idea.
Connecting human, animal, and environmental health.
And also very specific uses like boosting safety in dental practices. It really shows the breadth of where this could go.
The potential applications are quite diverse and interconnected. #tag mega recap.
Okay, let's try and pull all of this together now. We've covered a lot of ground. What we've really been exploring today is this potentially revolutionary idea. Antiviral chewing gum, powered by this FRAL protein. It sounds simple, but it represents a really powerful new way to cut down viral load right where it often starts, in our saliva, acting as this immediate, accessible first line of defense against transmission.
And the lab data we looked at is really compelling. Remember those numbers. Over 95% reduction for major flu strains and COVID, 94% for HSV2, and a strong 75% for HSV1. That really points to its broad potential against many different viruses.
And its public health role is so important to understand. It's not replacing anything. It's complementing what we already do.
Exactly, filling those gaps.
Especially for viruses that lack vaccines like herpes and for tackling that tricky asymptomatic spread. Plus, its practicality in high-risk settings or for vulnerable groups is a huge plus.
And looking forward, those clinical trials are key. But the vision expands out to that whole One Health approach, linking animal health like fighting bird flu to human safety, and even specific uses like improving safety in dentistry.
Right. So to help everyone listening really lock this in, let's do a super quick review. Think of these like verbal flashcards.
Okay, ready. First, FRIL,
The molecular glue protein from lablab beans.
agglutination,
That's the clumping action that traps and neutralizes the viruses.
oral cavity.
The main target zone. Reducing viral load right at the source.
One Health,
That crucial idea. Human, animal, and environmental health are all linked.
and ambient stability.
Key for practicality lasts 2 years at room temperature, making global distribution possible.
Got those.
Hopefully. Now, let's put you to the test with a quick question, exam style. Based on everything we've discussed today, which of these statements about the antiviral chewing gum is not supported by our deep dive? A, it demonstrated over 95% reduction in viral load for influenza A in laboratory tests. B, it is intended to fully replace all existing vaccination programs. C, it contains a protein derived from lablab beans that causes viral agglutination. D, it shows stable efficacy for at least 2 years at ambient temperature.
Okay, thinking back, the one that's definitely not right is B.
B, it is intended to fully replace all existing vaccination programs.
Yes, we've really stressed this point. The gum is designed to complement, to add another layer, not to replace essential tools like vaccines. That distinction is absolutely critical.
Perfect. So as we finish up here, let's leave you with a final thought to chew on, so to speak.
Nice one.
What other doors might open up in public health if we keep finding these kinds of elegant, simple, accessible solutions? Solutions that blur the line between everyday convenience like chewing gum and actual cutting-edge medical prevention.
That makes you wonder.
What kind of ripple effect could something so simple have on global health inequalities? On controlling disease in places where complex interventions just aren't feasible?
It's a powerful question, and this whole story of the antiviral gum is just a fantastic reminder of how different fields, plant science, molecular biology, public health, can come together to tackle really big, complicated problems.
Absolutely.
So we really encourage you to keep exploring these connections between science, technology, and health. Sometimes the biggest breakthroughs come from the most unexpected places, offering real hope for a healthier future for everyone.